Narcissists don't just bend the truth, they attempt to bend reality itself. They use their words as tools to manipulate you and control the narrative that suits them best at the moment. So let's uncover 7 phrases they use to twist your sense of what's real, so you might be able to protect yourself. Starting with a favorite, "You're too sensitive." We've all heard this phrase in some variation or another, haven't we? And these phrases can really get under your skin. But there's something you really need to know about this phrase. It's always gaslighting. No one has a right to tell you how much to feel. And sometimes people who say it don't really know how problematic it is, but a narcissist does. So let's say, for example, you have a problem with a narcissist in your life making jokes at your expense, especially in front of a crowd. Yet every time they do it, which is often, they're quick to tell you that you're too sensitive and you need to toughen up. Does that sound familiar? So you're upset, and rightfully so. And instead of listening, they shut you down by telling you you're too sensitive. It's like they're saying your feelings don't count. And if you've heard this stuff your whole life, you might even start to believe it. So now, why do narcissists lean into this phrase so much? Well, it's pretty convenient for them. So if we look at our example, they get to keep making those jokes without ever addressing how it makes you feel. They brush off your concerns without dealing with them. It's a sneaky way to dodge responsibility and make you doubt yourself. In the end, it's all about maintaining power. By dismissing your feelings, they keep the upper hand, and they get to do what they want without facing any consequences. And that's just the way they like it, but you don't have to put up with it. If anyone in your life does this regularly and it's really weighing you down, it's probably time to make some changes. And here's some insight from the comment section I know a lot of you are going to agree with. It's so hypocritical when they call us sensitive. If you ever give them a taste of their own medicine, they absolutely make a big deal about it. They can dish it out, but they cannot take it. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Christina, and I help people move on and get their lives back after toxic relationships. And if you're ready to move on from the narcissist and get your life back, sign up for the free 5-day breakthrough challenge in the description to start shifting your focus from rumination to recovery. Because regardless of what type of relationship this was, the effects of emotional abuse are very real, and they will be lasting if you don't address them. So another phrase a narcissist will use to twist your reality is, "That's not how it happened." It's a simple phrase, but it packs a punch, doesn't it? Narcissists love to use this one to rewrite history, one of their favorite things to do. And it's not just annoying, it's downright dangerous. So imagine you confront the narcissist about something hurtful they did. Let's say, for example, they insulted your cooking or your outfit in front of your friends. But when you bring it up, they say, "That's not how it happened. In fact, I complimented you." So it's a clear reversal of the facts, and it's an obvious lie. But narcissists love this tactic because it allows them to twist reality to fit their needs. So they can deny any wrongdoing and make you question your own memory. And here's where it gets tricky. Sometimes people genuinely remember things differently. But with narcissists, you're definitely going to notice a pattern. They consistently alter events to make themselves look good or to avoid blame. It's not a mistake or a miscommunication, it's a strategy. So how can you tell if it's manipulation or miscommunication? So look for consistency in your own memories and trust your gut. And if possible, keep records, texts, emails, or even a journal. And all of these things can be lifelines when someone is really trying to twist your reality. And here's a comment from one of you who has heard this phrase probably one too many times. Narcissists always want to rewrite history with them, the good guy, and you, the bad guy. But I eventually learned the best thing to do is go no contact. Or distance yourself if you can't go no contact. Take the so-called L. And I think what this commenter means by taking the so-called L is that it feels like a loss when you first walk away. It can feel very uncomfortable and overwhelming, but it is the only way to start healing. So now let's talk about another super common phrase narcissists use to twist reality. You overthink everything. Have you ever heard that one? It kind of sounds harmless and it may even be helpful in certain contexts. But in the hands of a narcissist, it's a sneaky way to shut you down yet again. So let's say you're in a relationship with a narcissist and you notice they get a flirty text from a coworker. You start to wonder if they're cheating. When you bring it up, they roll their eyes and say, "You're overthinking it. It's just work stuff." On the surface, it might seem like they're trying to ease your mind, but here's the catch. Narcissists use this phrase to brush off your thoughts and feelings. It's their go to move when they don't want to deal with your valid concerns. And it's especially problematic when you're seeing patterns of them trying to minimize your concerns around a certain topic. So maybe it's cheating, or maybe it's they're sharing your secrets, or maybe it's something else. But if they consistently try to convince you that you're the problem around this one specific thing, I would take that as a clear sign that you are not, in fact, the problem and it is them trying to hide something or maybe get away with something. But this simple phrase, "you're overthinking things," it lets them continue their sketchy behavior without having to explain themselves ever. They can dismiss your suspicions and make you feel even silly for asking. And it's a classic way to avoid accountability. And listen, of course, there are times when telling someone not to overthink something can be good advice. Like, for example, when you're psyching yourself out before a job interview. But narcissists use this phrase differently, and it's really never for your best interest, it's for theirs. And this one, it's really devious because anyone who's been in a relationship with a narcissist knows that overthinking, it becomes inevitable. Nothing is on the up and up, and you end up getting bits and pieces of a picture that you feel like you can figure out if you just think about it enough. So you end up ruminating. So, in true narcissist fashion, they create a problem within you, that overthinking, and then they use it against you and shame you for it when you start thinking about all the things they're doing that don't make sense. And the danger here is that you believe them even in these times when they're clearly hiding something, because you know that you've developed a tendency to get stuck in these thought spirals, thanks to all the narcissistic abuse. And here's a comment from one of you who definitely gets that. "I don't know if I just way overthink things or if I've been gaslit most of my life. I'm pretty sure my oldest brother and my mother are narcissists, but I don't want to have to remove my family from my life. If it were a friend or girlfriend, that seems easier. And I work with people who are moving on from all types of relationships with narcissists. And there is definitely another layer of complication when the narcissist is a close family member, especially given that the manipulation likely spans an entire lifetime. But whoever it is, trauma bonding can make it feel impossible to get away and stay gone. Thankfully, it is not actually impossible, but we all have to make the decisions that are right for us. So now let's get to the next phrase, and it's another common one. Let me know if you've heard it. "It's all your fault." This phrase is like a giant blame shifting weapon for narcissists. So think about a time when something didn't go as planned. Maybe you end up being late to an important event. Of course, they spent an hour getting ready while you were sitting there watching the clock, but somehow it's still your fault that you guys are late. Does any of that sound familiar? Narcissists love this phrase because it keeps them squeaky clean. They never have to own up to their mistakes. Instead, they dump all the blame on you. It's like they're playing hot potato with responsibility. And you always end up holding that hot potato. And if you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, I know you know what I'm talking about. But I do want to take a moment to address the other side of the coin because sometimes things are our fault. We're human and we mess up. But if someone is always pointing the finger at you, that's a problem. It's not about accountability anymore, it's about control. So if you notice that someone seems incapable of taking accountability for anything, just know that it's not you. No one is wrong all the time. So only accept responsibility for what is actually yours. And here's another twist on this phrase from the comment section. When someone says, "Oh, it's all my fault, isn't it?" sarcastically, they're saying it's actually all your fault. This is used to say we are not allowed to talk through any problem. Very passive aggressive people play the victim. And yes, the reverse can also come into play for sure. So, in any given situation, in any relationship, you have to use your own discernment and really check in with yourself and use your gut to figure out what's really going on. Do not just blindly trust the other person. So, now let me know if you've ever heard a variation of this phrase. I never said that. You must be confused. Again, they're trying to rewrite history right in front of your eyes. So, let's say the narcissist in your life promised to help you move this weekend. When Saturday rolls around, they're nowhere to be found. You confront them and, oh, oops, you must be confused because they have other plans. There's no way they would have agreed to this. And suddenly you're questioning your own memory. And the stakes are high. You were counting on them and them alone. And now you have no one. And you know that you wouldn't just make this up out of the blue. It had to come from somewhere, right? You see, this tactic lets the narcissist wiggle out of commitments and dodge responsibility. So they can say whatever they want in the moment and then just deny it later. It's like they've got a get out of jail free card for every conversation. And yes, of course, we have all forgotten things we've said before. It happens. But narcissists use this phrase way too often and conveniently for it to be by chance. They consistently deny saying things that you clearly remember. In this case, it's not forgetfulness at all, it's a strategy. So again, always trust your gut. If you are sure about what was said, stand firm, stand your ground. And it can help to have things in writing when possible. Text messages or emails can be your best friends in these situations. So keep those receipts, people. And another twist on this phrase is when they completely fabricate something they claim you said. But you know it's a lie because they're usually things you would never say. And here's a comment from one of you that illustrates this tactic well. So, my experience, the person would claim I said things I hadn't said. And I would say, I never said that. They would conveniently forget these important things, but somehow they would remember these things they claim I said, although I couldn't remember saying them. So, again, when someone is gaslighting you, you're going to look for patterns. If there are patterns of this person saying that you said these things that you didn't say, and this only seems to happen with that one person, it's probably not you. It's probably the other person. So it might be time to start writing things down. Another phrase narcissists use to twist reality is, I did that for your own good. And this one, it kind of even sounds caring, right? But with a narcissist, it can be quite the opposite. It's their way of justifying hurtful actions while playing the hero. So imagine you find out the narcissist in your life has been reading your private messages without your permission. When you confront them, they say, I did it for your own good. I was just trying to make sure you're safe. This I did it for you phrase lets them spin controlling or harmful behavior into something that sounds positive. So they get to act like they're your protector even when they're the one hurting you. It's like they're trying to repaint those red flags as safety banners. And hey, sometimes people do make tough choices for someone else's benefit, like the way parents set the rules for their kids and the kids don't like them, right? But narcissists use this phrase differently. They use it to excuse behavior that clearly benefits them and may even work against you. So if you're starting to fall for this one, ask yourself, does this really help me or does it mainly benefit them? Does it respect my boundaries? If the answer is no, you're probably dealing with manipulation. And now let's talk about another one of the narcissist's favorite phrases. You are making a big deal out of nothing. And this is the narcissist's way of shrinking your concerns down to nothing. So imagine the narcissist in your life constantly cancels plans with you at the last minute. When you finally express how hurt you are, they brush it off with this line. There you are again, making a big deal out of nothing. And suddenly, your very valid feelings are dismissed as an overreaction. Narcissists love this phrase because it's so effective. It lets them dodge responsibility again for their actions, and they can keep doing whatever they want without having to change, or, this is important for a narcissist, without having to apologize. It's like they're trying to convince you that your feelings are faulty, like there's something wrong with the way you feel. And I want you to know that this is another phrase that is always problematic. People's intentions are going to vary, and some are definitely more malicious than others. But no one should be telling you how to react, especially when it's to something they've done. No one else gets to decide what's a big deal for you. Your feelings are valid, period. What matters to you matters. Full stop. Don't let anyone minimize your experiences or your emotions. Okay, so how do you handle all this reality twisting? Well, with most people, talking it out is a really great option. But I know you know we're not talking about most people here. In fact, if you've made it this far, I'll bet you've tried talking it out till you were blue in the face. And you were probably met with major resistance because even the thought of accountability is painful for a narcissist. But even though it's painful, accountability is not even at the top of the list of the things that hurt a narcissist. And if you want to know what those things are, watch the video that's about to pop up on the screen. And if you haven't already, hit that like button before you go, and I'll see you next time.